We know that when the tent which houses us here on earth is torn down, we have a permanent building from God, a building not made by human hands, to house us in heaven. For in this tent, our earthly body, we groan with the desire to have around us the home from heaven that will be ours. With this around us, we will not be found naked. Yes, while we are in this body, we groan for the sense of being oppressed. It is not so much that we want to take something off, but rather to put something on over it, so that we must die, so that what must die must be swallowed up by the life. Moreover, it is God who has prepared us for this very thing, and as a pledge, he has given us his Spirit. So we are always confident. We know that so long as we are at home in the body, we are away from our home with the Lord. For we live by trust, not by what we see. We are confident then, and would much prefer to leave our home in the body and come to our home with the Lord. Therefore, whether at home or away from home, we try our utmost to please him. For we must all appear before the Messiah's court of judgment, where everyone will receive good or bad consequences of what he did while he was in the body. So it is with the fear of the Lord before us that we try to persuade people. Moreover, God knows us as we really are. And I hope that in your consciences, you too know us as we really are. We are not recommending ourselves to you again, but giving you a reason to be proud of us, so that you will be able to answer those who boast about a person's appearance rather than his inner qualities. If we are insane, it is for God's sake, and if we are sane, it is for your sake. For the Messiah's love has hold of us, because we are convinced that one man died on behalf of all mankind, which implies that all mankind was already dead, and that he died on behalf of all in order that those who live should not live any longer for themselves, but for the one who on their behalf died and was raised. So from now on, we do not look at anyone from a worldly viewpoint. Even if we once regarded the Messiah from a worldly viewpoint, we do so no longer. Therefore, if anyone is united with the Messiah, he is a new creation. The old has passed. Look, what has come is fresh and new, and it is all from God, who through the Messiah has reconciled us to himself and has given us the work of that reconciliation, which is that God in the Messiah that was reconciling mankind to himself, not counting their sins against them, and entrusting to us the message of reconciliation. Therefore, we are ambassadors of the Messiah. In effect, God is making his appeal through us. What we do is appeal on behalf of the Messiah. Be reconciled to God. God made this sinless man to be a sin offering on our behalf, so that in union with him we might fully share in God's righteousness. As God's fellow workers, we urge you not to receive his grace. We urge you not to receive his grace and then do nothing with it. For he says, at the acceptable time, I heard you. In the day of salvation, I helped you. We try not to put obstacles in anyone's path, so that no one can find fault with the work we do. On the contrary, we try to command ourselves in every way as workers for God by continually enduring troubles, hardships, calamities, beatings, imprisonments, riots, overwork, lack of sleep, and food. We recommend ourselves by our purity, knowledge, patience, kindness, by the Ruach HaKodesh, by genuineness of love, and truthfulness of speech, and by God's power. We commend ourselves through our use of our righteous weapons, whether for pressing our cause or defending it, through being honored and dishonored, praised and blamed, considered deceptive and sincere, unknown and famous. And we commend ourselves as God's workers headed for death, yet look, we're alive, as punished, yet not killed, as having reason to be sad, yet always being filled with joy, as poor, yet making many people rich, as having nothing, yet having everything. Dear friends of Corinth, we have spoken frankly with you. We have opened our hearts wide. Any constraint you feel has not been imposed by us, but by your own inner selves. So just to be fair, I am using the language of children. Open wide your hearts too. Do not yoke yourselves together in a team with unbelievers, for how can righteousness and lawlessness be partners? What fellowship does light have with darkness? What harmony can there be between the Messiah and Belial? What does a believer have in common with the unbeliever? What agreement can there be between the temple of God and idols? For we are the temple of the living God, as God said. I will house myself in them, and I will walk among them. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Therefore Adonai says, Go out from their midst, separate yourselves. Don't even touch what is unclean. Then I myself will receive you. In fact, I will be your father, and you will be my sons and daughters, says Adonai Svaot. Therefore, my dear friends, since we have these promises, let us purify ourselves for everything that can defile either body or spirit, and strive to be completely holy out of reverence for God. Make room for us in your hearts. We haven't wronged anyone. We haven't corrupted anyone. We haven't exploited anyone. I am not saying this to put blame on you, for I have already said that you have a place in our hearts, whether we live together or die together, that I am very confident in you, that I am very proud of you, that you have filled me with encouragement, and that in spite of all our troubles, I am overflowing with joy. For indeed, when we came into Macedonia, our bodies had no rest. On the contrary, we faced all kinds of troubles, altercations without, apprehensions within, but God, who encourages the downhearted, encourages us with the arrival of Titus. However, it was not only his arrival which encouraged us, but also how encouraged he was about you, as he told us how you long to see me, how distressed you are over my situation, how zealous you are in my defense. This news made me even happier. If I caused you pain in my letter, I don't regret it, even if I did regret it before, for I do see that the letter did distress you, though only for a short time. Now I rejoice, not because you were pained, but because the pain led you to turn back to God. For you handled the pain in God's way, so that you were not harmed by us at all. Pain handled in God's way produces a turning from sin to God, which leads to salvation, and there is nothing to regret in that. But pain handled in the world's way produces only death. For just look at what handling the pain God's way produced in you. What earnest diligence, what eagerness to clear yourselves, what indignation, what fear, what longing, what zeal, what readiness to put things right. In everything you have proved yourself blameless in the matter. So even though I wrote to you, it was not for the sake of either the one who did the wrong or the one wronged, but so that before God you could see for yourselves how deep is your devotion to us. This is the reason we have been encouraged. Besides our own encouragement, we had the even greater joy of seeing how happy Titus was, because all of you set his mind at rest. For I had boasted somewhat about you to him, and now I have not been made to look foolish. On the contrary, just as everything we have said to you is true, so too our boasting in front of Titus has proved true. And his affection for you is all the greater, as he remembers how ready you are to obey and how you received him with reverence and respect. I am glad that I can have such complete confidence in you.